Hello everyone, I built the perfect cozy little cabin with all of your essential needs here in Grounded 2. This here is the perfect home. Alright, now to go through and get started, select the scaffolding piece here, which you can get by scanning a stem at the research station. Now first and foremost, before we place it down, raise it to the highest possible height you can go, and make sure you give yourself a little bit of room, because we're going to be building a 2x3 box, just like this here. Or I guess in this case a rectangle, not a box. And then on one of the sides, whichever side you want your entrance to be, we're going to go through and place down 4 more. So on this case here, we're going to do this, just like so. And now you should have a simple 2x3 over here, and then a 2x2 box over here. Now with that being said, let's go through and get this space filled in. So for me personally, I am going to use the pine just because it's my favorite material right now, and I do think it looks really, really nice. So we're going to go through and select the pine here. And let's take a quick peek at the colors here. I think today maybe we will use the red for the actual base. So we're going to use this here for the actual bottom. And we're going to fill it in all the way around the corner here. So we'll just build this. I should be able to drag it all the way down. And then we'll do the same thing over here to drag this all the way down. And being in creative, I won't have blueprints. In survival, of course, you will have blueprints. So you will have to fill them all in. And that is now complete. Perfect. Now there is some weird little things like this, which we could fill in too if we really want to. And we could simply just do that with some half walls. That way it actually looks even, and it's not just floating. No one likes a floating base. And I think that should cover all the holes. This will kind of be dependent on where you build, so you might need a couple of excess materials around the bottom, just to make it flush. Once you've done that though, now we should have this here. Now what we're going to want to do is we're going to go through and build a set of stairs, and we will use the acorn stairs, I think. So we will select the acorn stairs here and build this right here. That should be able to allow us to walk up and down from here. Perfect. And now we're going to be up here on top. So what we're going to do is we're going to build our floors now. So this here is going to be our front porch. So we're going to utilize stems here for the front porch, I think. We'll do that there. And then for the actual base, we're going to use grass, because we have a lot of items placed here in the actual middle. We'll go, yeah, let's go with grass here in the middle, and we'll just place them down just like this, and fill this in just like that. So now we should have, let me just go into photo mode here for you to see, a simple rectangle here with a square, with the front porch now and the actual base itself. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the actual base here, and we know we're going to use the red variation of the pine, so let's put that on the outside here. And if this is going to be the entryway, I figure we'll make this spot here the door, so let's actually throw the door down now. And we will go with this one here. It's looking pretty good. If we're going to do red, we'll make the door the opposite. So then we will go back over to this here, and we can probably fill this in here, I think, with just normal. And then we can do the, I kind of want to see the front porch over here. So I think we'll make this a window. And then there's not really much to see over here. So we'll make that. And I think since we're going to make this the window, we'll fill this in here, this in there. And let's break this down. And we should make another window somewhere over here. So what we'll do is, I think we'll fill this in as well. Whoops, let's turn that around. And then we should put a window here. If we have a window here in this corner, let's place one maybe facing this direction. That way we keep this whole back wall flat for actual building purposes. So we'll do that. We will place that there, and then we'll go select the window here, and we can have that. And that will allow us to build a nice balcony off that as well, and then we'll have a nice flat area to work with in the back to actually do some designing back there. So let's go through and fill this in here with the window, and just like that. We are looking pretty good. So we've got the whole basin here. Now for the outside, what I'm thinking is we'll just do something simple. I'm not personally a big fan of the railings, so I think we will use, let's see how this red looks. Yeah, that looks real nice. Let's use the red here for the actual railing itself. And there we are. When I say I'm not a fan of the railings, I am referring to the actual clover and the acorn railings. They just do not look great. You could use them if you'd like to substitute them for you. But this is kind of what they look like. I'm personally not a huge fan, so we're just going to not use those. But if you would like to use those in place of these, you certainly can. And let's make the actual base here. We'll just use basic thatch, I think, on this portion of the base. Whoopsies. Let's get this moved over here. And then we will do the same thing here on this side. We'll actually hop on this to make placing things easier. And then we could build out over here if we wanted to, but maybe we should just keep it nice and simple. Maybe we'll just go for a nice simple roof. Very elegant, really easy to copy. So we'll just do that for now. And then we're going to fill this in here, so going inside the base is probably going to be the easiest. So what we can do is we can use the triangle pieces on the inside here. We can use the pine right here. So we can go through and place this down. And this, ooh, that's backwards. And in order to switch pieces if they're the wrong direction, all you got to do is pick it up. And then on Xbox that's going to be LB, but it's the symbol where there's one arrow on each side and there's a straight line down the middle. So that's how you can actually change which direction the design is facing. So we'll go through and place this down. Again, I screwed that up. That's okay. Simple fix should just be like that. And we are all set. Alright, now we've got ourselves a nice little front porch and a fully completed shack, but it's completely empty. So we need to fill in a bunch of details and make sure it does not look so flat, because right now it really just looks like a box. So, first and foremost, before we start decorating the inside, let's figure out what we want to do to the outside, because that might alleviate some space. If we can place down bigger items here on the outside, it'll save us some space here on the inside. So, when I think outside of a house, the very first items that always come to mind for me, outside of the nest, because those are kind of a given, is going to be the jerky racks, and then the dew collector. So I'm thinking the dew collector probably could fit right here on the front porch without any issues, so let's just take a quick peek at that. We could go through and probably throw this down right here in between these railings. Maybe if it wants to be nice. Yep, there we go. It let us do it, so if I can just get that there. Perfect. Alright, now for the front of the base here, I'm thinking since the research station is right here and the path is right here, we should make this the garden. It's going to be the very first thing you see when you get to the base. So because we are kind of in the ground, let's bring this up half a level. So what we're going to want to do is let's look for the scaffolding again. And I should be able to lower it down to right here. That is perfect. And then we will fill in this space here similar to how we did with the other pine pieces. But we will use the quarter pines since they don't require stems to save on materials. And let's make these red. Or do we want to stick with the theme? Let's stick with the same theme here. And we will just keep this here and fill this in around the corners. That is perfect. And then, knowing that we want to build on these, let's actually go through and place down the grass planks here. That is perfect. And then what we'll do is let's get 2 sets of stairs. The half stairs might be sufficient, so let's see if we can get these to work. They sure are. Now what we're going to do is let's go through, and I think we should probably place the railings first, and then try to fit the gardens comfortably inside those railings. So we'll stick with the same red theme we have going on the front porch, and we'll just stick to this there. And now let's look for the gardens here. So we're going to go over to the, right here, the garden patch, and we should be able to comfortably get this here in the corner. Just right there. It looks like it's just about even. Before I moved it, it was. Maybe right about there. And we will get that down. And then we should be able to, yep, there we go. Right there in the corner. They will overlap just a little bit, but I'm not too worried. It should still look halfway decent. There we are. And then if we grow mushrooms, they'll be kind of short. If you grow anything like clovers or grass, they will kind of pop up and you'll be able to see them there from the window. But I'm liking that. Now that we've got that in place, let's go through and figure out the back section here for the actual jerky. I'm thinking we should probably do something similar where we have it pop up like this. So let's go through, you know what, actually, let's have the jerky be elevated. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go through and we're going to build a small little section here, again with the quarters. And we're going to place these like that there. We're going to place down a couple more just like this, all the way for the full length of the house. And then we'll place those right there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to come out and we're going to do the same thing. And we'll fill them in over to right about there. And then let's make sure we have the light colors here. Again, to the full length of the base. Let's get this palette moved out the way. And then we will have this go just one direction here. And it will slightly merge with these rocks. Again, this will be dependent on where you build. So we're just going to fill in this space so that all looks flush. Fill that in there, there, and these little spots here, and we should be good. Now we're going to break these two down. We don't actually need these two. And let's chop up this dry grass, because that's probably going to get in the way here. Now I think that should be high enough, so that's perfect. So what we're going to do is, how long is this? We have 6, and because we're going to be placing items on it, we should stick with the grass, not these stem walls. So we'll go through and just fill the space in here just like that. And just like that. Now we're going to go through and get the jerky racks here, and that should be located just right here. And what we're going to do is we're just going to stand here in the middle, and we should... I might have to place down... Usually, if you can't get something down, use angles. So we're going to go through and put this here. We're just going to fill this in with some grass planks for just a minute. And then we're going to place down one here on the end. These are just temporary. And what we're going to do is we're going to look for the jerky racks again. And we should, ideally, be able to place them up here because we're dead center. And we'll place this right about there. Yeah, just like that. Maybe we might be able to get... I just don't want this to break, so we should be able to... This is a supporting one. We can get rid of this. This might be supporting. Let's try. It is not. Perfect. So now we're going to go through and do the same thing here. Get as close as possible to this one. Hopefully we could get right up close to it. There we are. We're going to make sure we can break this still. We can. And then we're going to get this one placed down right here. And we don't want this overhanging too much, or the middle plank will start to support it. Now we can break this one down since we know for sure the racks are placed. We'll do the same thing here with this jerky rack. And I do feel like this might be the last one then, since we're kind of low on space, so we'll give it a little bit of breathing room here. Just like that. So we've got 4 in total. If we space them a little better, we may have been able to get 5, but I'm okay with 4. So we're just going to break this down and break this down. And now you can easily go through and fill this with berries and just run through it. So you can easily access all of these at once just by running underneath. We will come back, I think, and decorate the sides here. Actually, we could probably do that now. So let's just, what I think, we'll go very simple. Let's just go with the triangles here and the pine. So let's just match the outside. Yeah, just like that. And then we'll do the same thing over here. Oh, let's change the direction of this, just like that. And then for this side, what we'll do is let's just mimic that. We'll use the triangle pieces like this. Have to change these signs here. And then on this side here, we'll bring this up just a notch. Again, change the sides. And then let's just fill this in with the same quarter walls that we did on the bottom here. Just like that. And there we go. We've got a nice little area here that allows us to be able to easily access our jerky. Now we are going to want some lighting. I will save lighting for the very end, since lighting can really bring a base together. But I'm really liking this. Now we do have this really ugly flat wall here on the back, and then we do have this little bit of space here, and then we can actually get to decorating everything. Now, maybe before we go any farther, because I very well may forget, let's actually finish the roof. And what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to bring these out just a little bit. So we're going to select the quarter pieces for the roof. And that's going to be the thatch quarter wall. And bring this down just there. And we'll do the same thing over here. And over there. And then we will repeat the same process on this side here. Over the garden. And just like that. Now, what we're going to want to do is this should be just fine. So we'll go through and select the thatch half flat roof. And we're going to build just like this off the very end of it. Just like that. And we'll do the same thing over here. Filling this in to right there, there, and there. Oh yeah, that's looking way better already. I'm really liking this. We can probably go through and maybe even connect these for some support, so we might just do that, so that makes more sense. And honestly, it might make sense, instead of this triangle, just to run it up to actually make it look like this is supported as well. So let's do that. Let's actually, we're going to break this quarter wall down, and hopefully we can still place it down with the garden here. And we're going to go through and place the actual piece here, which is going to be the half vertical wall. It does allow us to do it, which is good. I think we said, though, we were sticking with this here. No, actually, we were doing railings. We were doing red. So let's do that. And then we will do the same thing here with this one. And that's going to be right there. I'm liking that. And then over here, we will do the same exact thing. We will go through and fill this in right there. And we will do the same thing up here. And let's rotate this around here. Whoopsies, come on. If it wants to get in place, there we go. Now let's fill in, would the triangles make more sense here now? No, I don't like that whatsoever. So let's just stick to this. And again, rotate. And then we will do the same thing here. Rotate. And then, you know what? The triangles might make more sense now. Yeah. I think I like that. Add a little bit more dimension. Okay, perfect. And then what we could do as well is we could fill this in here. We could just fill in the triangles here just with the base to fill in the stairs. And then just underneath this one is the same thing. Again, I have to rotate. Is that? I can't tell what color that is. Yeah, there we are. That is looking a whole lot better to me. So what we're going to do is we're just going to bring this up a notch. And we're going to throw this down here. And rotate there. And we will again... No, let's not do the triangle. We're going to do the full piece. Just like that. I like that. And then over here, you'll do the same thing. We will break this quarter wall, or this triangle wall down. We'll turn this around here, and we will fill this in here. Sorry, I should have done the roof first. That would have been the smart thing to do. So now that the roof is finished and we went back through and detailed those, let's go through and evaluate what else we can put on the outside here. Now, I'm thinking what we can do over here is we want a place to place down the nests. I don't know if I could break this. I cannot. So let's see what we can do. Let's go through and utilize the scaffolding here. Technically, you don't have to use scaffolding, but we're going to. Can I place it over the rock? We can. Yeah, we're just gonna use scaffolding. And I think, let's see. This will give us, so it's not quite as even. Yeah, I don't want it to be completely flush. So we're gonna do a simple 2x3 here on the back. And then what we're going to do is we're going to build down the stairs here. And we will use the acorn stairs. Maybe, well, again, keep it with the actual base here. And then let's go back to the grass planks. And we will fill this in here. Just like this. Awesome. And now we're going to go through and place down some side walls. I think we will use the stem walls here. Just to mix things up. I'm kind of thinking maybe we should do stem walls up here too to break up the pine. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. We already have a lot of pine going on and I want to break up this pine. Should have thought about that. We're going overboard on the pine. It's very easy to use too much of the same material, so we're going to change this up. Sorry about that. And this is why I kind of stuck at tutorials, because I changed my mind on the fly, but that also, I think, happens when you just come up with cool new ideas. So I like that a lot more. It breaks it up. Now what we're going to do back here, though, is you're going to need a lot of pebblets. We're actually going to deck this out with pebblets here. You can use the pebblets and snap them directly to the actual grass planks. So it will still maintain the same flat space as the grass planks, but give it this stony look. And there is that. But for me personally, I don't think that takes away enough green. So we're now going to place them in the opposite direction. We're going to place even more. This is expensive. It definitely is. Did I place this down? I don't think I did. Let's fill that in. I don't think I filled it in here. And so let's see real quick. So if we need 10, 20, 30, 40, 80, 120. So you're going to need 240 pebblets. Okay, now let's go through and decorate this place. So I was actually just experimenting and I realized we need to take these out to actually place something down just for a moment. I don't know why, but there's this one piece in particular, this here, the egg storage, and it just does not place well at all. So we want to snap this here to the middle. So all we're going to do is we're going to go into first person, and we're going to move forward to right about here, to it's right before, in between these two areas. I'm going to place the weevil down facing the center, and it'll be completely flat just like this, and then we can go back through and actually switch back to third person, and we will place down these same walls here, just like that. If you try and place it with the walls there, it just does not work for whatever reason. I spent like 5 minutes trying to make it happen, and it just would not happen. And then we're going to get some hatcheries here, and we're going to unsnap things now. We were using the snap function before. Let's look for the bug eyes. Let's see, we want the bug eyes to be in the front. It should be in the front now. And we'll go down here in the corner. Get this a little farther back so it's not quite even with that there. We'll do the same thing right here. I think we are meshing into the wall a little bit. And there we go. Alright, now let's go through and decorate the rest of this little area here. So I'm thinking we're going to go very simple here. I don't want this area to be cluttered. So let's place down a plank pallet here. And we'll get it just here in the corner. Let's give it enough room. We won't get like super tight here because we want to be able to easily grab it and return it without having any issues. So we'll just place this here. And we're going to place that there because it's going to be our primary source of plant fiber. Since you can use the planks to actually be converted into plant fiber. I'm having issues here, so let's, again, we'll just relocate this railing real quick, and then maybe we can place this down. We sure can, okay. Let's give it a little bit of room, though. Let's see, right there. And then, one might be enough, actually. Let's just stick to one, and then we will place this down. So we can use this to basically just convert all of the planks here. As you can see, you can make planks here, and turn these into plant fiber, so we will do that. I'm thinking this area is pretty good now, so we can just leave this area here. We'll come back and again add lighting at the very end. Now I'm thinking let's head inside. So this is going to be where all the fun stuff is at, and we're going to get to decorating. I am going to build a temporary light source though, that way you can actually see everything that I'm doing, because it is a little dark in here. And can I swing this door open? I can, yeah, let's just do that for now. So first and foremost, I am thinking let's get some storage going. So we've got this huge back wall here and this side here. So I'm thinking let's go through and get our half walls. Because we're placing items on them, again, we're going to use grass because it has the flat hitbox here. So let's go through and place down, for sure, one in the middle. We do have the window there, so let's not actually impede that. Let's stick to one here, just like that. And maybe just like that. That's looking pretty good, I think. I don't really like angled walls, though, so let's do that for now. That looks pretty good. And then let's go through and we'll utilize the pine on the side here to match what we've got going on. Just like that. And then let's fill in the actual storage chests. So we're going to use the acorn storage chests. And what we're going to do to fill in the bottom place here is we're going to rotate it. As you notice, you cannot get it below. We're going to crouch, and then we're going to go into the first person. And we're going to start here in the corner. And we will butt it up as far as we possibly can. Just like that. That actually meshing it through. Go back here and place these down. Try and be as even as possible. This is definitely a human error, so it's probably not going to be flat, but I should be able to get roughly 3 per plank here, so we should be able to fit 6 chests in total down here, as long as I don't screw anything up. And we'll get one more right here. You might be able to align them a lot better than I am. I'm doing this pretty quick here. I'm going to then go up top, and we will repeat the same process. So let's see if I can get... Let's go back to third person. We should be able to place the top ones easier in third person. Place them down just like that. Fill that in here. There. Going pretty quick here. And there we go. And then let's fill in this space here. What we're going to do with this is we're going to first place down a half pine again. Just like that. And then we're going to place down a triangle, which should fill in this space and connect it to the roof. Perfect. Just like that. Creating a really nice wall that separates the storage out. I'm really a big fan of that. Now we need a crafting station, and we could be here in the corner. Let's do that. Just have a little bit of room to work with here. We're going to go with the crafting station right here, I think. Right up against the corner. Not quite meshed through. We'll just place this down. Last time I actually did this, the green popped out. So let's just double check here real quick. We'll use photo mode to do the scouting for us. It is not popping out, so we're looking good. I like that. And then we will place down the actual upgrade station, which is going to be right here on this side, just below the window. So it shouldn't actually cover up the window. Still easily be able to see outside. Can access this just fine. All the storage is still very easily accessible. I'm liking that. Now let's figure out what other essentials do we need here in the base. We know we need a cookery. Now let's go to bed first. Bed's probably the most important. This is how we're going to place it though, because we get the most space. I don't want to be wasting any space, especially in smaller bases like this. Alright, so that looks good. And I think what we'll do here then is we're going to actually fill in the cookery. We'll place the grass first. I lied to you. We're going to actually rotate this. We'll place the window right here in the corner above the bed. And then we will place down the actual just standard pine wall right here. Yeah, I like that a lot more. And then what we're going to do is we're going to place down the cookery now with the grass in place. and you'll see why here in just a minute. So again, we're going to rotate it around so it's on the right, and then we're going to go back into first person and crouch. You can see though, it'll let us place it down now, even though that grass is there. That looks good to me. It's popping through the top. That is normal. All right, now we're gonna go through and place down the fridge here directly on top. So we'll just turn this around just like this and get it just butted up against the wall here. Should not be sticking through at all. That looks perfect. And then to cover up that little top piece that's sticking through, we're gonna get a basket. Place the basket just like that. Whoops, we'll get a little closer so you don't notice it. And right there. You wouldn't even know it was sticking through. And then we're going to get the roasting spit. We're going to line up the roasting spit here with the campfire. We're going to crouch, back to first person. We're going to line it up here as close to the middle as possible on this side. Place that down. Go back to this here. And as you can see, roasting spit action on. You can still grab your food, and you can access the cookery here on this small little space. So now what else are we missing? We are missing, we've got gardens, cookeries, smoothie stations. We need that. I'm not worried about the water container. We do need spinning wheels. So we're gonna need a smoothie station and spinning wheels here. And we will fill in just above the actual workbench here. And then what we'll do is we're going to get the spinning wheels. Where did they go? Right here. And we should be able to fill, we don't want them sticking through, so right about there, I think. Move it over here. One down in the middle so it's aligned well, and then we'll get one more. I think if we do a better job lining these up, we might be able to make more fit here. Let me move the lamp because it's in the way. Let's see if we can get this lined up just a little bit better here in the middle. Yeah, that's looking a little better. We'll do the same thing with this one. If they merge together, I'm not too worried. As long as they don't go through the ceiling, that's the only thing I don't want to happen. And then, yep, we had it right there. So, right there. So that is going to be 5 spinning wheels. You can easily access all their inventory. Now, all we need to make sure is, are they sticking through on the top? Let's see here. And, nope, that is just going to be the actual triangle pieces here. They are not sticking through at all. That is looking wonderful. So I've got this all up here, nice and tidy. Now we just need a smoothie station. And we could place it here, but I feel like that'll block the chest. So, oh, and technically we could actually just cover up this part of the cookery because you can access the cookery from right here. So let's just do that. Let's just throw this down right here at the edge of the bed. So, you know, if you're laying in bed and you want yourself a nice little snack, you can grab it. And we're going to probably go to first person, I think, and we'll crouch. Yep, that'll let us get a better angle here. And place that down. That looks like it fits just perfect. And that is looking pretty good. We have all the essentials. Now, you just do some basic decorating. So a torch. I never like my torches actually sticking where you can see them. So I'll be spending most of my time over here, facing this direction. So I'm going to place the torch behind where I'm going to be standing. So I don't have to look directly at it. We'll place it right here. And if you don't change lighting, I'd recommend it. Changing lighting is pretty cool. I think we'll go with a green, which should be about 150. We'll change this to 150 and bring this up a little bit. I like that. I am thinking, you know, this is like perfectly in alignment. How do the dummies fit right here? They look like they fit pretty well. The only problem is that these stems are not great for placing items. Usually the grass planks are better. But if we fill this in, let's just put one here. We can do one over here. That way they look like they're guards at the front door. And we're just going to basically place it right here in front of where the rope is located so it stays flat. Got 2 armor dummies there. And we'll do the same thing, I think, over here. Since we're not using this space. We'll place down one here, place one there. And maybe you'll get one more right here. I think 5 is a pretty... Ooh, I don't like that middle one. We're going to get rid of the middle one. Okay, well 4 is still a pretty good amount. So we've got 4 set up here. And then let's go back inside just to finish up the walls. So for the walls, we'll place down a weapon wall mount. We'll get probably one here and one there. So if you have weapons, you can fill that space in. That wall's decorated. This wall's completely filled up. So now we just have this space here. I'm thinking very simple solution to that is a sign frame. Smack in the middle of everything. Right there. I say middle, but I am not great at judging those things. Let's throw down a smiley face. Right on. That's looking pretty good. I think this place is all sorts of cozy. Now, the only other thing I'm thinking is oh, we didn't do a rug. Let's do a rug. Cool little trick with the rug, is you can actually place it directly below the workbench here. So it looks like a nice little work area, just like that. Right here, I'm thinking, let's throw down a cool little bug here. I like the bee. We'll put the bee here up top, right there. And then on the side here, we could do one of the bigger ones. I'm thinking maybe we'll do a ladybug. Yeah, I like that. Got the window kind of in comparison, contrast. And then maybe we could also get a torch here for the wall. Let's place down a simple little torch, maybe in the corner. I do like the torches typically in the middle. Yeah, we can place down the torch right here in the middle. Maybe on the bottom. Just like that. Turn that on. And then if you weren't aware, you can actually copy settings from light. So if I can stare at that light, I can't quite reach it. You can actually copy settings from light. So if we go up to this light here, you can actually go into the light colors, access it here, and then hit X to copy, or whatever the copy button is for your inputs, and then go over to the other light, and so you don't have to manually adjust it. You can just go through and select the actual light again, and then hit paste. It will mirror the same color contrast. This is nice when you do all the lights together. That's why I recommend doing all the lights at the very end, so you can just change whatever colors you want by simply copying it. Once you copy it once, you do not need to copy it again until you log off, or until you walk away from your base. I'm not sure which one it is, but yeah, so that's filled in, that's good. Over here, let's just get a little creative. We can just toss down some very simple bugs here on the outside. So I'm thinking maybe like a little red worker ant. That's kind of small. Why don't we do this then? We can place down the worker ant here. Anything that's small we can place in these spaces here. The orb weaver could go on the end here. And then on this side we could place down... How big is the larva? He's small. And then the mosquito is also small. Place down the mosquito right here. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Oh, we've got the little grubs. Let's do the grub here. We'll do the gnat here. The weevil on this side. And then we could do the aphid right here. So it's all spaced the exact same. You've got all that place filled in. Now it is dark here, so what we're going to do is we'll fill in these other spaces that we don't have covered with lights. These lights on the wall are far less bright than the actual standing light, so having two is not a bad idea. We'll fill this space in here and that there. Now I do think we can do a different color here, so let's just actually change the color on this one. And we're going to go with purple, so we're going to go over to 250 versus the 150. And we will do that there. And I'm going to copy this new setting. Whoops. And then turn that back on. Should be able to just open this up, hit paste, move on to the next one. Same thing, open this up, hit paste. And same thing, open this up. Whoops, let me accidentally click the wrong button and hit paste. So now this area is all decked out, looking really good. I'm thinking we could place down a big guy here, like a big wall mount. So let's just go through and place down the scorpion, because that thing's menacing as can be. Throw that down here in the middle up top. I like that. And then, let's see, what else can we fill in? It's getting kind of dark, so I might just want to sleep till morning. Let's place down the cockroach right here. And then we'll throw down one more light here. Or actually, I like the tiki light. This might be a good place to try the new tiki light. Let's put the cockroach directly below the scorpion if we can. I don't think we can. Okay. Yeah, where's a good place for this tiki light? Let's go to the front porch for the tiki light, I think. Or right here. One here. One here. Looking pretty menacing. I like that. And then right here, we'll just do a simple light with this, whoops, with this here. Just like so. I think we'll copy the same purple colors over here, so we'll just do that. Oh no, I unlit the thing. Yeah, there we go. I like that, I like that. And then right here on the front, maybe you could throw down one more big little head here, as long as it's not in the way. So let's just throw down, what are we missing? Anything important? Maybe, oh, the mantis. Yeah, of course, that's the big new boss here, or big new guy. Oh, and he even glows because he's actually, all of these heads will take the lighting directly behind them, which is the green here, and basically kind of be a little bit translucent, so it comes through like that and it glows. That looks sick. Alright guys, well that's it. Let me sleep real quick and let me show you the completed base. And this here is what we have managed to design. It is looking pretty cool. You've got the front porch here with the garden. Sadly the mushrooms haven't grown. You got the glow-in-the-dark mantis. You've got a little place here for your hatchery. A nice little walk-through area for all your jerkies here in the back. Then coming around to the front porch, walking on in, you've got a full decked out area for crafting. Got all your little spinning wheels up there. Nice little storage section. Somewhere to sleep as well. This place is fully packed. And this is a huge upgrade from the basic 2x2 box that we just recently did. If you are enjoying these types of videos, then please consider leaving a like and subscribing to see future Grounded 2 content.